Hey everyone, and welcome. My name is Danny Den Hartog, and I'm a lifestyle business coach for coaches. I work with coaches, creators, and all kind of knowledge entrepreneurs with the main objective to help them build a business that loves them back. If you're undercharging or selling your coaching for free, right, you have a hobby, another business. So I help you to actually build a successful business. In this special session, we are here with Joseph McClendon III, who is my mentor, and I've learned the processes, techniques, and systems that actually help you as a coach to go further faster. Now, what that means is it will help you to default back to your best behavior so that you can actually do the things that you already do. So this is what I know to be true. If you're listening to this, you want to make a difference. You're really hungry to impact clients at the highest level. You have a heart for coaching, but is it true that you are more an artist than an entrepreneur? Is it true that you have in the past undercharged, right, for your services? Now, in this special interview, we're going to really look at, okay, how can you step up into your magnificence? How can you dare to be magnificent and be wealthy? Today's speaker is Joseph McClendon III. He is an ultimate performance specialist. He's one of the very best, and he has been featured for decades at Tony Robbins stages. Without further ado, Joseph, I'm over the moon that you have decided to spend some of your precious time with us today.
It is my absolute pleasure, and I love the way you describe the difference between a business and a hobby. That's brilliant, because I agree with you 100%. So thank you for having me on the show.
Awesome, Joseph. Would you mind if we dive straight into it? I have questions prepared for 5 hours, and I'm going to condense it. By the way, what's just awesome, which I haven't shared with you before, I've actually asked my audience to submit questions in advance. So I have a number of questions here from coaches that are really looking to do the things that we are going to talk about.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. All right. Maybe you could share a little bit more about your background, because one of the questions that I got from some of the coaches is, have you always been this inspired? You are in your should I disclose your age? Or do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm proud of it, man. I'll be 72 in November.
Crazy. So have you always been this inspired, and how do you have that unstoppable energy?
The answer is absolutely not. I wasn't always this inspired. There was a time in my life where I was depressed and just this side of suicidal. When I was 17 and a half years old, I had a great childhood. I had great parents who taught us integrity, tenacity, and discipline. When I was 17 and a half years old, 3 grown men tried to take my life because of the color of my skin. And it wasn't just what they did to me, it was what they said to me that just tore down my confidence, my self-esteem, my self-worth, and I wound up homeless. And so I wasn't inspired in those times at all. And what changed it for me was somebody that I didn't know gave me a book. The book was called Think and Grow Rich. I read the book and it changed something inside me. It made me realize that I could take control of my own life, of my own fate, of my own feelings, of my own thoughts. And I didn't understand everything. I just did what the book said. And when I went back to the guy to thank him, I asked him, how do I repay you for what you've done for me? And he said, Joseph, you repay me by doing what I've done for you for as many people as you can. And so it was at that stage. Now, I won't say it was automatic, but it gradually grew. As my success grew, I started to realize that my self-esteem, my self-worth was attached to helping other people. So I got inspired by that and I started to study that. And that's how I wound up what I do now.
And by now, you have helped millions of people to actually go further, faster, and do the things they have said they already want to do. But why are so many of us, and I just want to share a quick story before we go into that. You first touched my life back in 2017 at UPW. If you're watching this interview, chances are that Joseph from Unleash the Power Within or any of the events, the larger events, where you speak to tens of thousands of people. People see you as this very confident person. I can imagine it was not a walk in the park when Tony asked you to step into day 2 and actually do that. And I would love to go a little bit later in the interview into how you actually show up, get the entire room to play full out with you. I was there in 2017 with you, and to be honest, I didn't even know that I lost the hunger and the drive. I only knew that at the last day when you guided us through the meditation, started to discover, I really want this. I am meant for more. I really want to go further fast. I didn't even realize it at that time. For me, that has been the biggest gift you've given me. And I know a lot of people who have done that as well. So I just wanted to have said it. I would love you to reveal a little bit behind the curtain in how you do what you do. Can you share a little bit about that?
Thank you for that. People approach me and go, "You're so talented." And I've heard that word several times. What you do is magic. And I'm quick to say that if I've given you the impression that it's magic or I'm so special, I apologize, because it's not. And it's from my heart. And you know this now because you know the processes. It's a process. Yes, I have a lot of time in the saddle. I've been doing this for a long time. But I always tell people, if I lost everything right now, if I lost everything and I wanted to get to where I am right now, it would take me less than 2 years, because I know the processes. The process of being able to impact people and cause people to go, "Wait a minute, I realize something inside of me wants more and that I can do more, to be more. My past doesn't matter. I can step up, learn some things, and I do some things." That is a process that I call impact. If you're able to impact people and not just inspire people, because inspiration, you can get inspired from a movie, and inspiration only lasts a little while, 42 hours, 72 hours, and then we're on to something else. And nowadays, even less than that, because there's so much distraction. However, if you can impact somebody, and impact comes in many different ways, but the main way is when you have some sort of emotional event. We call it SEE, significant emotional event, attached to something to learn. Then people get that aha, and life will never be the same again. Then they want to change. It's not me changing them. It's then they want to change. And then they start to get that, wait a minute, I can do something different, and I will, and then they do something different to get a different result.
I love that. And we all have these memories from childhood, right? When something happened for us, either negative or positive, and we still remember that vividly.
There's two ways of learning. One is repetition. You do something over and over again, you learn it, it goes inside. And that is the slower way. It works. But the other way is, like I said, significant emotional event. When something causes you intense pain or intense pleasure, we tend to remember that as a lifelong lesson. You stick your hand in a flame when you're a baby. That's intense pain. That's emotional, that's physical pain. And you remember for the rest of your life, don't put your hand in fire. The same thing works for pleasure. If you do something and you receive a great reward, or somebody praises you, or better yet, you praise yourself, then it's the same thing. It goes deeper in you. So part of the process, you said this earlier with regard to what we do in terms of neuroencoding, is help people program themselves so that they default to the best, so that they're not just excited, but they've got that confidence, that certainty, that drive, that pull inside that makes them get up early, stay up late, and do the extra stuff to make it happen.
Yeah, I characterize myself as an achiever, and I know if you're listening to this, chances are that you define with that as well. And I think being an achiever is great in the sense that we make things happen, and there's also the side where it's, for some reason, it's never enough. And is that right? What are some of the things, and maybe could you talk a little about what you call the toxic 10? Because
Sure.
when you first shared it, I was like, this makes so much sense. And this is not only for achievers, but for the masses, right? We all struggle with 10 specific things and fears. And just the awareness of that is already so powerful. So could you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And what you said, awareness, that's really important. So for those of you that are listening, I'm going to go through what I call the toxic 10. And these are the 10 things that stop all of us, that stop us or slow us down. As I go through them, if you're watching this, give a thumbs up or type a 1 or something like that. If when I go through one of these things, you go, "Oh gosh, yeah, that's one that hinders me. That's one that I struggle with." I want you to acknowledge it, because if you don't, then here's what happens. A, you might not know that it's there. And then B, you'll be in denial and you'll go, okay, that's not me. But be honest with yourself, because this is important, because these 10 things, these are the thieves of our dreams. And here they go: procrastination, hesitation, fear of failure, fear of success, self-doubt, self-loathing, imposter syndrome, stress, overwhelm, and fear of rejection. Now, if you're human, you're going thumbs up or raise your hand because that's the human condition. And yes, there are subsets to all of those things, but those are the 10 main things that has been throughout my career, which spans almost 4 decades of doing this. That's what people want to mitigate and get a handle on and replace it with something else. And that's what neuroencoding is, so that we can encode ourselves so that when those things show up, and they will, because we're human, that we don't default to doing what I call an addiction. And addictions come in many ways. There's habits and there's addictions. Habits are the things that we do without thought, automatically, that serve us. We have a habit of brushing our teeth, dressing ourselves or washing ourselves, showering ourselves. Those habits produce great results. An addiction are things that we do automatically without thought that hinder us, that cost us things. Smoking cigarettes or eating bad food or alcohol, but also bad behaviors, scrolling on our phones. And so those things are going to show up in our lives. And the reason we do those things is because of fear of rejection, fear of all of those things that I said before. So when they show up in our lives, we want to have something that makes us go and turns us into the person that we want to be, because that person is always available as well. So when fear shows up, and it's going to, I always want to make clear, Danny, that people understand that I'm not here to tell you that if you do what I say, you're not going to have any more fear, you're not going to have any more problems. Of course you are. That's part of life. When they show up, the quicker you default to something that is resourceful, the quicker you're going to get to the better result. I always say there's no fearless people, but there are people who fear less. Fear less means less time that we spend in it. Suppose you get a bad phone call that says this isn't working out the way you planned. You're afraid of losing the deal or something happens. And then you put the phone down. If you stay in that fear, you're not going to get to solution. If you stay worrying about something, you're not going to get to solution. Fear is just the feeling that we get when we anticipate or we even imagine in our minds that something bad is going to happen. We assume that. But what we're not thinking about in that moment is, wait a minute, I may have other options. It's not written in stone that is going to happen. And even if it does, this is what I could do. So what we train people to do is so that the fear triggers them to become what I call optimistic. And optimistic doesn't just mean every cloud has a silver lining or every glass is half full. What it means is that we have other options. Optimistic means we have other options. So if fear shows up, if that triggers us to go, okay, what can I do about it? Because there's always 3 questions. What's the truth? What can I do about it? And what do I want? Then we can go, oh, I could do this. I could do this. And we get out of that fear quicker and we get results quicker.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And my audience, it consists a lot of entrepreneurs who are really heart-centered. And a thing that I've heard a lot as a business coach for coaches is that there is this comment around, I really want to tune into my emotions. And I think people don't realize that when they are in an unresourceful state, the more you focus on these emotions, they trigger more thoughts, and your thinking leads to more of these emotions. So one of the things that I love about you and your teachings are that you have a specific process. We're going to look at some specific techniques that you are teaching us. They are transformational when it comes to actually doing the things that you want to do and actually acknowledging when you're in an unresourceful state. So could you maybe just briefly speak to what you feel is, out of the toxic 10, what is the biggest one out there? What's the one that we should be most alert about?
Yeah. It's actually 2 of them, and they're the first one and the last one. Procrastination and fear of rejection. Yeah. Fear of rejection. Those are the 2 number 1 fears that all of us have. Procrastination is the brain's way of getting us out of pain. That's it. And Danny, we oversimplify things here so that everybody can understand it, so we can do something about it. If you make things so complicated that people have to think about it, then they're not going to do anything about it. I like to make it really simple. So think about the act of procrastination. I'll give you an example. You know that you want to go to the gym because you want to have a better body, you want to have more energy. You know that going to the gym is critical, and you even intend on doing it. You even say, yesterday, you go, tomorrow, I put in my schedule, I'm going to go to the gym and work out for 1 hour. What happens tomorrow? 2 things. Number 1, most of us forget about it. We forget that we even said that we were going to do it. And then those of us that do remember, we set a reminder when that time comes, the human brain and the human nervous system is designed to move away from any pain and move towards pleasure. Now, stay with me on this because this is important to understand. If I do something else, that's not pleasurable. Instead of doing the workout and I go eat cake, that's not pleasurable because I'm going to feel bad about it. It is in the moment. It's better. It's less pain than the fear of going and working out. So when working out comes up, we go, oh God, I got to get dressed, I put on my shoes, I go to the gym, it's going to hurt. I've done this before. And as soon as we do, that doesn't feel good. Talk about getting in your emotions. We have no problem getting in our emotion. We have problems getting out of our emotions.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so when that person is going through that uncomfortableness and it doesn't feel good, the brain goes, get out of this, find another way. And remember this, if I tell you something, you might believe me, but if you tell you something, you will believe you. So your brain goes, I'll do it tomorrow. And as soon as we do that, we believe it. And our brain starts to make pictures of doing it tomorrow, but you said that yesterday. And as soon as you do, you get out of the pain. And now you're feeling better. And then the brain goes, what else would we do that feels better? I'll go eat some cake. I'll scroll on my phone. And this happens in an instant. And sometimes we bounce back and forth 9 times out of 10, unless somebody works on the skill of mitigating procrastination, we're going to default to it. And that is why so many people are overweight and broke and unhealthy and unhappy. The other one on the other end is fear of rejection. It's the #1 fear of human beings. We're designed to be that way, Danny. We're designed as babies to always have somebody around us. Theoretically or scientifically, the human baby is the only creature on the planet that is born with the least amount of instinct. Birds know how to fly south for the winter. They know how to build nests. Some babies are cracked from an egg like a lizard, and it never sees its mother, an insect never sees its mother. It knows what to do. But humans, not so much. We have to have somebody around or we'll die because we have this big head. We come out and our brain is the biggest brain per capita of any other animal for the size of our skull. It's huge. But with the sacrifice is we don't have instinct in it. We know how to swim. We know how to avoid pain, like move things away. Babies cry. Babies flirt. Babies are doing cute things. Why? To keep people around. Because that baby, the instinct that it has is it knows that it's left alone, it will die. Why do I say that? That's the fear of rejection. It never goes away. That is why people are so concerned about what other people will think. That is why people are so worried about what'll happen if I fail. It's not just rejection from other people, it's rejection from ourselves. And that is fear. And so what do people do when there's fear and there's pain? We move away from it.
Yeah,
we do other things.
This explains why somebody may be starting a post or going live on social media, but just before hitting the button, it's, ooh, this is scary.
Oh, yeah.
We eat cake.
Yeah.
or that procrastination. It's around, like, one of the questions that I got sent over was that I know this needs to happen financially this month for me, but for some reason I know I need to get out to get clients, but instead I'm distracted on social media. Is that the exact thing that you've just said?
Yeah, it's exactly what I just said. And people ask that question. I'm glad you said that, Danny, because people ask that question. They go, I don't know why I do this. Why do I do this?
Yeah.
That's an endless loop question. You haven't answered it yet, and you're not going to. So that's why I answered it for you. Here's why you do it. When the pain shows up, whenever you have any pain, your nervous system is going to go get out of that pain. And if that means procrastinating, if that means running, because we have that part of our brain, that sympathetic nervous system, that is fight or flight. But we have a bunch of other pieces of our brain as well. And so I say, yes, if you're going to default to that fight or flight, run and fight the urge to do something stupid again and learn the process. There's a process of interrupting that pattern and placing in it what you should do. It's obvious it works because there are people out there that work out and make more money and all those things. The only difference between them and other people that don't is either they know what they're doing by snapping themselves out of it, or they don't know. It's something that happens automatically in them because they had a significant emotional event that changed them.
This is so profound, and it's something that I didn't realize, because sometimes we are running on autopilot. These are just patterns that we have conditioned for decades, and you have taught us a system that we can actually like interrupt the pattern and replace some things that are going to help us to go further faster. I'm really excited. If you want to get access to that special bonus Q&A that I've done with Joseph, do register for the 30-day. It's completely free, 30-day fun and easy client attraction system, and we'll get to one specific technique that is really going to change your life. So Joseph, when it comes to the topic Dare to be Magnificent, and that's also what your book has been about, you talk a lot about that everybody wants to be wealthy. Give us a little bit of a synopsis about what it really takes for all of us to become magnificent and step into that courage that so many of us know we have inside, but it's so hard to tap into. Could you speak to that briefly?
Absolutely. And first off, it's always important to understand and us get on the same page what we mean by a word or a phrase, because you could have different understandings and meanings for it. So I'm going to give everybody a definition of magnificence and then how to achieve it. Magnificence, in my definition, is to magnify the essence of who you are. What does that mean? Everybody has the spark of electricity in us. Every single cell has something in it called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. What is that? It's just simply a chemical reaction that produces electricity. That's it. The more electricity that you have, three things happen. Number one, you become more alive and alert and spontaneous and creative. Nobody is creative like this. As soon as we have fear and as soon as we're tired, electricity reduces. The second thing that happens is we create more what I call electromagnetic energy. And what that means is that energy comes outside of us. If you don't believe me, go look up Carillion photography. And human beings, actually every living thing, the more emotion that we have, the more electricity we produce. And the more electricity we produce what's called electromagnetic energy. That is the essence of who we are. So from birth, you have an essence in there. To magnify it means to make it bigger. The third thing that happens, Danny, is that we become magnetic. Every magnet doesn't just attract steel. A steel magnet attracts steel. But guess what the biggest magnet on the planet is? The Earth. And it doesn't just attract steel, it attracts everything. This is not the laws of attraction. Magnetism means that you move towards something as it moves towards you. This isn't just thinking about stuff and wanting stuff to happen and expecting it to show up. This is when we have that electricity. And the processes that we show people is how to create that electricity so that we default to that. So we're not only bringing into our lives what we want, we're moving towards it and we don't sabotage. And so having said that, when we as human beings understand that the essence of who we are, it's already inside of us, and there's process to be able to do that, then we can also come around to recognizing this. The last thing that I wanted to say to you per your question is this. Everybody wants to be wealthy. For a lot of people, it's not just about the money. I heard a saying the other day that said, if you have your health, then you can have 1,000 problems, and probably do. But if you don't have your health, you only have one. Wealthy means to be healthy, happy, and financially abundant. If we can condition our mind, think, feel, do, and then have. Condition our brain to automatically default to the best thoughts that cause us to feel the feelings that create that energy, then it's going to cause us to do more of what we know we could, should, would do. And as a result, we're going to create the abundance that we want in our lives. And that's being wealthy. To wake up every single morning with positive expectancy, to wake up every single morning knowing, not just assuming, but knowing that you have everything that anybody else that has ever been successful at anything else in life. You have the same stuff going on inside of you. Lastly, I'll say this because I know we got to go, is that I was fortunate enough to have that unfortunate thing to happen to me when I was younger. And I learned from that everything happens for a reason. And I learned at an early age to always look where I want to go, to always use my imagination in a healthy way. And it is one thing that I can encourage everybody to do. Don't let your phone control your imagination. Don't let television, don't let other people control it. You control it by putting a smile on your face, focusing on what you want and reminding yourself of what you want. You don't have to believe it in the beginning, but if you look at what you want, you get excited about it. Electricity grows, you become more magnetic, and you move towards it and it towards you.
This is so powerful. I never realized before how we operate as human beings. That's what you have taught me. That understanding is something I've passed on to my 5-year-old and 9-year-old, and they were getting excited because they now knew how they actually could feel. I've had the privilege of seeing you speak and engaging with the room. I would encourage everybody as a final word to do 3 things. These are really going to make the difference because it has happened for me. I've been immersing in Joseph's teachings, and Joseph has changed my life. He will do that with you as well if you do these 3 things, all right? Number 1, please make sure to sign up for the 30-day Fun and Easy Client Attraction System. There's a special bonus video in there that is going to help you with a specific technique that is going to change your life. So that's the first one. Secondly, please follow Joseph on his social media. Joseph, I am Joseph McClendon. So follow him and follow his content. It's at the very least, it puts a smile on your face. And then number 3 is if you are interested in learning what he does, and he will talk a little bit more in the bonus video about it, but it's called his Neuroencoding Institute. And it feels to me that it's your legacy, Joseph. It's like you have packaged so much in there and people need to check it out. There's a link as well if you want to talk to one of his team. The link is there. I would highly recommend it. Make sure you do these 3 things. And Joseph, I'm deeply grateful. Do you have any last words for our audience today?
I do. And first off, thank you for having me. And anybody that's listening, thank you for the gift of your time, your energy, and your trust. And I don't take that lightly. I shared this in the very beginning. Somebody helped me when I was at a downtime in my life. I want you to experience whatever it is that you want. I made a promise years ago that I would touch as many people as I possibly could and share this with as many people, which is the reason why we created the Institute. So if anything that I've said or Danny has said to you inspires you and helps you move the needle just a little bit, then several things will happen. But the least of one that'll happen is as you become more successful, as you become more achieved, as you become more wealthy, then you, by your example, will inspire and impact somebody else. Those of us that dare to dream and do something about it, while the rest of the world is having a nightmare, we're not only going to create the abundance and things that we want for our own lives, we're also going to be examples for other people. And those other people, you could shift somebody's life just by your example as well. And so always remember this, that life is always exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold. And so the trick to life, as far as I'm concerned, is to learn how to boldly step up so that you automatically dare to make your life magnificent.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to our Q&A in the 30-day client attraction system. So go there and you'll see a very special session with us. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you, Danny. My pleasure.
Awesome.